Let us begin in consciousness. As I relax and breathe into this moment, I accept and know that there is but one power, one presence, one infinite creative
Recording in
intelligence,
progress.
one divine idea fully present, fully available to each and every one of us at all times, in every place. So as we begin this evening, we do so with open minds and loving hearts to begin to create a life that is valuable and positive, that is exciting and delightful, something that brings joy into the world, joy into our hearts, and maybe, just maybe, creates a possibility of transformation. So filled with love and light, peace and gratitude, I take these ideas and I release them into the law of mind, knowing that it is done and that all is well, and I let that be the truth. And together we say, and so it is. Well, welcome everyone. I'm delighted that you're here. It's wonderful to see you again. And I want to just begin with our land acknowledgement. In the spirit of reconciliation and peace, we are grateful for the opportunity to meet on these sacred lands. We thank the generations of people who've taken care of this land for thousands of years. We recognize our oneness. We realize our history. We choose to create a new reality. We are one. Miigwech. Well, today we're talking about changing your inner consciousness. Yes, going into the beginning place. So let's begin with something simple and honest. Think about this. You've been talking to yourself all day. From the moment you woke up to what you thought about your body in the mirror, or your face, or your hair, to how you may have, talked about the traffic, the emails, the weather, people, problems. There's been a voice, a steady inner narrative, a private commentator on your life. Sound right? And here's the key idea for tonight. The self-talk we practice becomes the atmosphere of our lives. So the way we're talking in our head is creating the experiences that we have around us. Whether we like them or not, it's the truth. That's what's going on. So we don't just have thoughts, we live inside the tone of those thoughts. And so tonight we're exploring how changing our inner conversation will change our identity, our confidence, and ultimately our life experience. I'm getting over a cold. Please excuse me and my tissue. Okay, so think of your mind like a radio, for example. So a radio plays the station that it's tuned to. And if you don't like the music, you don't shake the radio, you don't yell at it, and you don't blame the speakers. You change the station. But here's what we often do with our own inner life. We stay tuned to the Worry FM or Criticism 101.5 or the Old Story Network, and then we wonder why the music of our life sounds the way that it does. Here's the thing. Spirit is always broadcasting possibility, guidance, strength, creativity, and love, but we have the dial in our hands or in our mind. And our inner conversation is the tuning mechanism. I don't know if you've ever thought of it that way. But think about this morning. Just go back to this morning. And just think about, what was going through your mind when you looked in the mirror first thing? Was it about wrinkles or double chins or messy hair? Or was it critical or was it loving? Was it kind or was it not so kind? Think about it. The journey that we're on is deeply personal. Each one of us has a journey that we're walking, and each one of us is walking it in our own way, at our own pace. And yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff going on around us which we can react to, and often we do. But we don't necessarily need to react always in the ways that we do. Sometimes we need to be able to sit back and just pay attention. Look around and see what's going on, and then check in inside ourselves to go, what have I been thinking? What have I just been thinking about that's causing something? And I remember years ago, I was getting treatment for a strained neck. You know how it is when your neck, you wake up in the morning and you can't move the darn thing, and it's painful for days, and then it finally goes away. And I thought, I wonder, one day it was starting, and I thought, I wonder what I was just thinking. And I went back to the thought, and the pain went away immediately. And I've not had a strained neck, a strained neck since. Now, how did that happen? Well, it happened because I became aware of what my body was telling me, what it was saying to me. I listened. And when I saw what was happening, I was able to change it. So we don't notice so much the atmosphere that we live in. I mean, think about it. Fish don't notice the water, and most of us don't notice the emotional and mental atmosphere created by our self-talk. So let me just give you an example. I've got a story here for you. Imagine walking into a room where the air is slightly smoky. Not enough to alarm you, just enough to make your eyes sting a bit. At first you notice it, but after 10 minutes you adapt. After an hour you don't even realize you're breathing smoke. Well, that's kind of what our chronic criticism is like, our self-criticism. It's that same thing. It's like we've been saying these things to ourselves over and over and over again. I'm not enough. I never get it right. Nothing works for me. You know, it's like we've got these things that we're running. I'm sick and tired. I'm upset about this. We get so used to that emotional negativity that's running constantly that we don't even realize that it is the very reason why we're feeling what we're feeling. So it's the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is built from repeated inner conversations. So whatever's going on in our consciousness, we want to pay really good attention to, because that self-talk that's happening in our minds is creating the life that we're living, whether we like it or not. And wanting to change it doesn't change it, just in case you were wondering about that. It does not change it. What changes it is when we turn around and go, okay, let me start thinking about myself in a new way. Because self-talk becomes my identity, or becomes your identity. So thoughts repeated often enough become beliefs. And beliefs repeated often enough become our identity. And that identity shapes our behavior, choices, expectations. So if my inner conversation says I'm bad with money, people always leave me, I'm not creative, I'm too old, too late, too behind, I don't just think those thoughts, I begin to live them. And, you know, imagine for a moment that you were, you know, in a crowd of people and you had a name tag on that says, "Hi, I'm the one who struggles." What? We wouldn't do that. We wouldn't do that. And yet, that is kind of how we're showing up in the world, is with this self-reclamation that's going on, that we've decided to own, that we've decided to believe in, that it's become the mantle that we wear. So when an opportunity appears, that inner voice says, "Oh, that's not for you." Or when something goes really well, it says, "Don't get used to it." Or when a challenge arises, it says, "See, this is how your life goes. This is how it always is." So we want to change that inner conversation, which then will change the inner consciousness. And when we change our consciousness, we begin to change our life experience. It's like removing the old name tag and writing a new one that's aligned with spiritual truth. So here's the good news. Your, inner conversation that you've been repeating over and over again is learned. which means we can relearn. We can learn something else. In New Thought, we understand that we're individualized expressions of an inner intelligence, an infinite creative intelligence, a divine energy that permeates all life everywhere, and we are some part of it. And when we come to understand that we are some part of it, we can start to realize what is meant by the phrase, we are made in the image and of the likeness. We're made of the image and the likeness. Now, I've said this before, that doesn't mean that, the universe is 5'2" with blue hair and hazel eyes. What it means is that I have created my life according to my consciousness because I am in this place of great strength and possibility. I am a part of this universe. And the attributes of the one are the attributes of all. So we can begin to do things differently. We can begin to think differently. We can tell ourselves new stories. We can begin to behave in a way that is more in alignment with what it is we truly want to create in our lives. So we might turn around and go, well, I'm not really broken and unworthy. I'm actually pretty great. So I'm going to start telling myself different things. For example, standing in front of the bathroom mirror in the morning, hair all askew, and, if you didn't take your makeup off last night, then that's under the eyes, and look in the mirror and go, I love you. I really, really love you. And walk away. Try it. Try it. I've given that exercise to some people who absolutely could not do it. They absolutely could not stand in front of the mirror and say that or do that. But here's the thing. We can't give what we don't have. And it's up to us to refuel ourselves or to build ourselves up, get ourselves on track the way that we've always wanted to. If our inner voice doesn't reflect spiritual truth, we end up narrating our lives from conditioning instead of consciousness. So we begin a new practice, not fake positivity or denial, but truthful, uplifting inner speech. Instead of, I can't handle this, we begin to practice, there is wisdom in me greater than this moment. Do you want to repeat that? There is wisdom in me greater than this moment. Yeah, doesn't that feel better than I can't handle this? Or what about I always mess things up? We could say instead, I'm learning, growing, and becoming more capable. Instead of nothing ever works, I could say life is still unfolding and good can appear in ways I haven't even imagined. So we're not lying to ourselves, we're aligning ourselves with a more positive message, which will then allow us to create something new in our experience. But we've got to make that change. So I'll share a story. I'm not sure if I've shared it with this group or not, but I remember many years ago, I worked for a newspaper in Calgary. And I'd worked there for, at the time, probably 7 or 8 years. So a good long time. And when I was there, I worked really hard. I did my work, got it all done. But I was a bit of a bitch. Yeah, there's no other word to really talk about it. I was angry, I was critical, judgmental, nasty. I was not the nicest person, let's put it that way. So I get called into the boss's office for my annual review, and he basically tells me, I'm going to fire you if you don't change. If you don't change your attitude, you're out of here. Well, I took that serious. My dad had taught me you got to work hard to earn a living, and I knew that getting fired was not part of that mandate, and so I had to figure it out. So I did. I started taking personal development classes. I started, looking at new ways of doing things, and I started working on myself in a way that I never had before. Pardon me. what's interesting is that over that year, there was a lot of change, and most of it was very uncomfortable. I mean, it was not comfortable for me to go up to strangers and go, "Wow, do you ever look good today?" But I did it anyway. I worked in a building with 1,000 employees, and I would see people I hadn't seen for a while, or even ones that I didn't know, but I'd seen them around and I could see they have a new suit on, and I would comment, like, "Wow, you look terrific today," or things like that, just little things. But gradually it became easier and easier to do this. And when I went to get my next yearly review, 1 year later, my boss just shook his head. He said, I've heard of people doing what you've done, but I never believed it. I never believed it was possible. But he said, you've done it. You've changed your attitude completely. The idea that we have complete and utter control over our thinking is not a new idea. And yet it's one that we sort of forget about sometimes. We forget that we could turn around and change the way we think about ourselves. We could change the way we think about life or the world. We can begin to ask different questions. We can look at the people around us with a greater degree of love and acceptance and honoring just who they are and where they are, regardless if it's, if they've done exactly what we wanted them to do or whatever. Like, coming to conversation or coming to meet people with a sense of curiosity allows us to open up to new streams of wisdom, understanding. It helps us to build relationships. It changes the way our life unfolds. All of a sudden things get easier and brighter and more fun and more interesting. Not because the world is automatically, magically changed, but because we've changed our inner consciousness. We have complete control over that. How we react to situations is up to us. The way we speak to people, the way we show up, it's up to us. We have the ability to do whatever it is that we want to do. We can be anything, do anything, create. We are these remarkable beings of love and light, and we are one with the Creator, because that's what we are. We live in this oneness. So because there's no place that spirit isn't, then it has to be right here where I am. And if it's within me, then that means I'm powerful and I'm intelligent and I'm creative. And if I pay attention to all of that, I can actually begin to create a life that honors my existence and begins to honor the existence of others as well. So when we look at the world around us and we talk about how, it's not good, it's not safe, it's terrible, we want to begin to change that and begin to install a new inner dialogue. So if we don't consciously choose the new conversation, the old one comes back by default. So it's time to begin to create a new internal language and to do it on purpose. Yes. So we could say, I'm allowed to grow. I'm supported in ways I cannot yet see. I am becoming more confident and capable every day. There's something in me greater than fear. And I always think of fear as, from A Course in Miracles, it was false evidence appearing real. And I coined the one, feeling excited and ready. Because you know how fear is, you can feel it in your belly. It's like this fluttery feeling. But excitement feels kind of the same way. So why not call it excitement? Why not look at, I'm feeling this thing, I'm embarking on this new plan, this new strategy, and I'm feeling this thing, and what if it works out perfectly? What if it's the best thing ever? What if I succeed in ways I hadn't even imagined? What if our what if conversation was positive instead of negative? What if two words we tend to use probably more often than we should. And are we using it in the direction that we could be? Life, right? So interesting. You're not trying to force belief, you're creating a new mental atmosphere. One that allows, you to be in harmony with the universe, to feel the energy of the vibration, and to allow ourselves to come into a space of possibility. So I want to take you into a meditation. And so I invite you just to sit comfortably, close your eyes if you so choose, and just allow yourself to relax. Taking a deep breath in, and as you release, feel your body relaxing into your chair, having your feet planted on the floor, maybe your hands turned upright in your lap, and imagine waking up and your very first inner voice says, "Good morning, we're in this together." Imagine making a mistake and hearing, "That's okay, you're still worthy. Let's learn." Imagine facing the unknown, and your inner voice says, "There's more strength in you than you realize." This voice is not fantasy. It's the voice of your deeper self, the true self. The voice of spirit, individualized as you. Changing your inner voice is not self-improvement, it's self-remembrance. You're here to remember who you really are and why you came here. So imagine letting go of all that old criticism. Throw it in an old backpack, zip it up, and put it out with the trash. And see that truck rolling down the street on garbage day, picking it up and taking it away. You're not here to rehearse old criticism. You are here to become a clear channel for truth, strength, creativity, and love. So I invite you this week and beyond to listen for the station you're turned to. And when necessary, and when needed, gently and kindly change the dial. And taking a deep breath in, beginning to slowly just bring yourself back to this time. Take another deep breath in. And let us rejoin the conversation. You have the power in you to change your life. But only you have that power. No one else does. Well, thank you so much for being here. It is that time in our service when we go into our offering. And I just want to say something gently. That life shows us, what we trust or what we believe in. And when we come to this time in our service, when we're giving of our good, I invite you to give from a space of, did I receive some gift here today? Some awareness, some understanding? And if the answer is yes, and the means are there, I invite you to share that. Giving isn't payment, it's participation. It's saying, I believe this matters, or I believe in what's being built here. And I believe there's enough. And if for any reason you don't feel moved tonight, no pressure at all. This is just information. And that's not a failure. But if you do feel a quiet yes, this is one of the ways that belief becomes visible. So let us say together our abundance affirmation. I'll say it first. It is in the chat, so you can read it there if you like. As I give, so I receive. My good now flows to me in a steady, unbroken, ever-increasing stream of success, happiness, and abundance. I am blessed. Blessings abound for all life everywhere. I am grateful, and so it is. Well, and there are a few ways you can give. You can give through e-transfer to admin at ujoyc.ca. You can go to our website, ujoyc.ca, click donate and give that way, or you can mail us a check at the Universal Joy Centre, 28 Sir Raymond Drive, Toronto, Ontario, M1E1C2. And we receive your gifts with immense gratitude. We do have a few things going on, some classes coming up, some events, so I want to invite you to go to our website, ujoyc.ca, and on the website you'll find the links to the classes, to the Wednesday evening event, and a lot of information about who we are and what we do and how we do it. So I invite you to check that out and come back often. There's a lot of material on that website, so I invite you to take a good look at it. And for those of you who are watching on Facebook or YouTube, we put the link in. The Zoom link is there in the chat for you. So grab that link if you'd like to come in and ask questions or share any ahas from today's service. Join us in Zoom. We're going to go into a conversation at this time, and you are definitely invited. So let us join together in consciousness as we close this first part of our service. Within the infinite and the absolute, there is the natural expression called life. It's lived powerfully and positively and productively from this moment forward. Everything needed, everything necessary is right here. All that is desired is made manifest, and the journey of life is made easy. This happens in the moment that I accept who I truly am and begin to live from that place. With love and gratitude, with grace and goodness, with well-being, I take all of these ideas and I release them into the law of mind action. I know it is done and that all is well. Please stay with me, and so it is. All right, and now we'll open up the